Hey guys, we're going to do a little flight today in the Flight Sim 2020. So we're going to shoot an ILS approach into Charlottetown PEI. We got the weather set up to pretty bad. Some overcast ceilings. Should break out around 3,000 feet, 3,500 feet. But we have an aircraft on final. But I'm just going to go over the 172 G1000. I added the mod for the LED light kit. So I just installed that. It looks like it's a little bit brighter. Thought I seen, yeah, it looks like there is an aircraft on final. So we've already got our GPS set up direct to. We're going to go for an ILS 03. We're going to plan for that. Before we get airborne, I'm just going to put in the frequency just to get that done. Is 10.9. So we'll swap that to our active, and I'm just going to turn on our nav1 identifier. We'll hear the Morse code once we get close. I'm not sure if that aircraft is on final. Looking at the map, I can see an aircraft here, so maybe that's it. One thing I noticed with the no matter what the visibility is, you will still see the beacon through the clouds and stuff. So we're going to go for 5,000 feet. So we'll get that set in our altimeter or altitude hold. Let me see. So we got our ILS put in. Other than that, we should be good to go. We're holding short of, we're on Alpha, holding short of runway 29. So I'm just going to set our heading bug to that. 290. For now. So it looks like it'll be probably we'll climb out and we'll make a right-hand turn to get on course. I do believe that aircraft is getting closer. Now I can see another one coming in I didn't see before. It looks like she's on final for 2.9, so we'll wait till that lands. So into flight. It's a 65 nautical mile flight, so we'll talk over some of the systems and in flight and some of the things that don't really work yet for the approach and stuff. Let's see what this aircraft. I've noticed one thing, the ATIS do not work, and so in AWAS you can't get the weather. That's not implemented yet, and it always seems to be just static on the active comm, so I switched that off. I'm not sure if that aircraft is off. I find pretty sure that's an AI aircraft, so Release our brakes. We'll go with 1 notch of flaps. You might be wondering how I'm looking around. I'm using Track IR. I do have VR, an Oculus Quest. But, so I see 29er, see the runway, work. Make sure we're on the right runway. I'm just gonna go into PDF. I'm gonna get our win. I'm gonna go with option. It's not showing our weather. Hang on 1 sec. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna take this small map out of here. We don't need that. PDF. Our wind. Usually it would pop up here. Oh, no wind data. Okay, I see it there now. I think I have the wind set to 0 wind. So yeah, that's why. Yeah. All right. Go back. Okay, the aircraft should be off the runway. Trim is set to neutral. Airspeed's alive, 50. And she should come off. Alright, through 1,000, we're gonna go flaps up. Should break out. Ceiling was showing about 3,000 feet, 3,500. I'm gonna continue on this heading till we get to about 2,000. Okay, I'm going to go autopilot. We're going to hold our heading. And we're going to go VS. And we'll go up 500 feet a minute. We'll use our heading here now. We'll just do a 180 back. right to 3060. One's 20 on the heading. We should intercept our localizer, not our localizer, but our course direct to Charlottetown. All right, lean it out just a little bit. Turn off our landing light. Pass through 2000. It's a little bit lower. 2600. We're breaking through. So at this point, I'm just gonna hit, seeing we're on GPS, just gonna hit our nav instead of heading, and put us on our course. A little feature here, you can click the center of your heading bug and it centers up. I have to say they really did a good job with the weather, I must say. I dreamed of having good weather like this in Flight Simulator X and say X-Plane. I always dreamed of having good weather like this where you can, it's very realistic. So we're set into the evening. Time we get in Charlottetown, it should be getting a little bit closer to dusk. See what our get an outside view. Say the model of the plane's pretty well, and they're continuously updating. I know there's a lot of feedback being inputted and complaints and stuff, but yeah, they're doing pretty good. So we got our localizer in for 03. And our VOR is 113.8. So we're going to put that in our nav 2. So we click the center of your nav button, and there's two dials. The outer one will change your big numbers, and the inner one will change the after the decimal. So it is 13.8. Uh, 13.8, and we'll swap that over to the active. And we have our nav 2 showing 61.6 miles. Couple little features. You can have your HSI like this if you prefer. Okay, we're leveling off at coming up on 5,000. We're on altitude. When you switch to that, you'll have to notice up here it's set to roll, so you want to re-enable your nav so it shows GPS. So the magenta is where we're going, the distance, the heading, which is the bearing, and we have our this is our autopilot, what is set on our, so we're at GPS, autopilot is enabled, and altitude at 5,000 feet. I like this one personally. So yeah, some of the features with the autopilot is not correct or not working correctly. So you see our flight plan right now is just a direct to. So I'll go procedures, and we're going to select an approach. We hit enter. The outer dial will scroll through, but our inner dial selects this, but then you have to go back to the outer dial. So we want ILS 03, or we can go RNAV. So we'll do the RNAV. And our transition, I have a plate book. Yeah, so our transition will be Yukobo. Which is on the on this side of the approach, so, and Vicbo is on the other side. So we'll pick this one. So we're gonna load. So we'll load that right now. And we'll see it changes. But if I wanted to, it's very hard to see, it's kind of small. Just gonna go over our I find it's very small. I'll try to get in as close as I can. So if I wanted to go direct to another one of these waypoints, it won't let you. So, but I also noticed if you do not, in the world map in this game, if you do not set up a flight plan, if you go, I picked the airport and I selected it as a departure, and then I went, found my destination, set it as an arrival. If you do not do that, if you just spawn in the air and try to set up an approach, I'm not really having very much success with that. It seems like you have to set up an approach, an arrival and a departure on the world map menu. So I found that to be a little bit buggy. That's one thing I've noticed. And if I just wanted to go direct to one of these now just to shorten my path, I can't do it, so. Or if I pick, say if I wanted to go back to Moncton, it wouldn't, not that I've noticed anyways, it wouldn't let you set up an approach for some weird reason. Check our gauges, everything's in the green. I'm getting a weird little static in my headphones, so I'm not sure if that's being picked up on the recording or not. If it is, I'm sorry. But other than that, the aircraft performs very well. Since the last patch, as you might know, you can't change the sensitivity of your joystick. I do have the SATEC yoke and throttle quadrant. I've had it since my early Flight Sim X days, but my desk is not really capable of clamping the yoke onto it, so right now I'm just using a joystick, an old gaming joystick. I had a Logitech one, and I still use the actual SATEC throttle quadrant. So, but yeah, you can't adjust the sensitivity of your joystick. So it's known, they know about it, so they're working on it. So hopefully, I think in the next day or two, they're coming out with a fix of a couple things. Hopefully that is fixed. So our lights work in our cabin, which is good for default aircraft. One thing some paywares have is you click on your sun visor and they come down. Doesn't do it. Yeah, that was a little bug. I didn't touch anything then, and my mixture went full. I noticed I started to lose speed, so I'm not sure what just caused that. See, all I did was really turn on my lights. and click these. I didn't really touch anything else. So we still got 33.8 miles to go. Like it's going to be a beautiful sunset, but as we know, below us the weather isn't the greatest. So I do really like the G1000 aircraft. I like this autopilot system. Most of these here buttons do not work. Well, they actually work, but I don't really see any like some will say not used. I've noticed the nav audio level, once when I get a little bit closer, you'll hear the beacon for the airport, because I have it tuned in for the ILS frequency there, so you'll hear. That's why I turned on our nav 1. I don't have an NDB. I don't have the NDB put in, but it's fine. Visually, the aircraft is very good. You can't open the doors from the inside like most planes. Some of the PEI where you can click on that and the door will open, that animation, or open your window. I know it's a default aircraft, but I'm sure little touches like that would have made it a little bit more realistic. But as I said, it's a default aircraft, so. So it looks like we're coming up on the bridge that connects New Brunswick to PEI. And normally these arrows, left and right and up and down, you click those, normally the map would move, but it doesn't on this. And okay, I see something here now. I've never noticed. Okay. Something I just learned. Oops. I know it's very hard to so you click that and you'll see a little pointer. And it's a little bit slow. If you just keep dragging it over, you get a better view of your approach if you want to look at it in detail. Come down a bit. So it only lets you go so far. It will just center it up. So we're actually only 23 miles from our first waypoint, not the actual airport. So if they implement the ATIS and everything where you could actually check the weather, that would be ideal. It's the ATIS frequency for Moncton. Trying to find it on my chart here. Usually it's in the top corner. I guess there isn't one. I guess you would just the control tower from Moncton, I guess, would do the weather there. But yeah, normally you just put in your ATIS in your COM 1 and listen, and or in COM 2, most people would put it, and you just listen to it to find out what the active runway is, and any NOTAMs or anything. So the ATIS or the AWAS does not work yet. So we're 19 miles out. I'm probably going to start our descent down a little bit here now. We'll go down to about 3,000. Now you can hear the Morse code. It's picking up as I'm listening to nav 1, as we were saying. So I can turn it off and it goes away. So go down to 3,000. We'll set our VS. We'll go down 500 feet a minute. Just standard rate. Come back on our throttle a bit. So our speed was picking up. So what we'll probably do, I'm going to shoot an RNAV first, and then we'll come around and then we'll do an ILS. One thing I've noticed, this magenta is our glide slope, and I always noticed that it was always low. Like, of course it's low now because I'm still at 4,600 feet, but even close, we'll keep an eye on it. It just seemed like it was, I would have to go down pretty low to get that to come up into our into the center to lock on when we turn on the approach mode. So you'll see it once we get closer. I gotta turn that off. And I'm gonna turn on our landing light here on. Taxi light is off. Our standby instruments right here in case if something had to happen. We still have our altitude, with our speed, and our attitude. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the flight so far. I like flying these instrument approaches. Probably gonna go, I'm gonna continue our at 2,000 here. maybe slow our descent just a little bit here. We'll go 300 feet a minute. I'm gonna go back to 5,000 or 500 feet a minute. Normally when you see this just turn blue because we're 1,000 feet from our desired altitude, normally you would hear a chime, but that doesn't chime off, I've noticed too. Okay, we won't see the sun until we get back up around, and we'll do an ILS for the next one. Did a pretty good. They did a little tweak to the rain and stuff last patch too, and the rain hitting the plane and stuff and on the windows. Pretty cool. Okay, our pilot heat is on. Okay, our glide is coming up now. It's normally at this waypoint. Calls for 2,100 feet. So we should be just below it. We're still 5 miles from there, so. Come down one. I'll go down to 1,900 feet here, just an extra 100 feet. Just to get a little bit below our glide here. Had a little bit of precipitation, but now it's stopped again, but I think we'll get lower. So right now, if I wanted to go to this waypoint, I can't do it. But normally I would just go flight plan. I would find that waypoint, go direct to enter, and it would put me to that just to cut off if I didn't want to hit that. If I didn't want to, you know, if I just wanted to shorten it up. But that's one thing that needs to be fixed in the autopilot system. Like that waypoint is ICMAD, just right there. Because if you were being vectored or anything, the controller or in real life, it would be like, see direct to ICMAD, and just for spacing for traffic or whatever, and but it doesn't let you do this in here. So if you were flying that sim or anything like that, where there's actually, it's an online real life type where you actually have air traffic controllers, so, but it's online of course, and they could tell you to go direct to ICMAD and you can't really do it. So we're getting about a half a mile from our next inbound, and it should turn us pretty much directly on course. And once we straighten up here, seeing I'm below the glide, I'm gonna hit the approach. And you see our GS come up. So when that comes back down, it should lock us into our glide slope. Right now I'm going to set up for our go around. I'll just put it to 3,500 feet, and I'm gonna center our heading bug, so we'll be on runway heading. It's 11 Celsius outside, or outside the air temperature. A little bit of icing on the, not that's icing, or sometimes it's weird there. I haven't really experienced much icing lately. Alright, as we're getting closer, our glide should start to come back down, and see if it locks us in. Our 5-mile final. See our glide is starting to come back in if you watch our magenta triangle, and it's captured our glide slope. Alright, now we're set up for a landing. Blow back our speed here. Like normally with this visibility I can see the actual runway light flashing. At 4.2 miles in this weather, probably wouldn't see that. See, let's go 1-notch flaps. Well, the visibility is not as bad as what I was thinking. Had a little bit of rain at the top layer, but it's disappeared again now. Almost like I see like a dark, could be the runway. Oh, getting some more rain again. Alright, we're 2nd-notch flaps. We'll let the glide slope bring us pretty much in. Full rich.
$500.
Got the lights. Pretty much would be at minimums, I would imagine. 500. Let's see how good it actually brings us to the runway. It's looking pretty good so far. Yeah. Ew. It's a turn off our autopilot. Ooh. The lights look pretty bright compared to the default. Alright, let's have our go around. Go 1-notch. Everything's in the green. so we'll just stay on our runway heading. I'm going to switch to our localizer and our CDI. We'll do the ILS next time versus the RNAV. Alright, autopilot's coming on. And our heading. VS, and we'll go 500 feet a minute. So for your Loc 1, you need to have the ILS frequency in your active for that given runway. So an RNAV is on a GPS and your ILS is on the nav, which is Loc 1. If I go back to Loc VOR, our GPS, our CDI. So once we get to 1500, I'm just gonna start our we'll make a right 90 degrees. You see this line starting to center up right now. So if you looked out directly, we are directly in line with the runway, and now we've gone past it. To give you an example, better idea, it's our runway. Now we're just making a 90 degree, and once we get out so far, we'll turn downwind and just like a box pattern, if you look at it that way. Our runway's in this direction over here. This is our aircraft in the center. Alright, I'm going to put that notch of flaps up before I forget. Actually, I'm not going to go all the way up to 3500 because it'll have to put us out quite far. Go 25. Actually, stay at 2000. We need to go back to our VS and go down. We'll go negative 200 just to put us back down. It did beep then, but I think it beeps when we actually hit it, but normally you would hear a chime when you're 1,000 feet from your desired altitude. Alright. Now I'm going to make another right-hand 90-degree turn. And we'll line it right up with this green magenta so we know we're running perfectly parallel with the runway, as you can see on the map. And usually once we get mid-field, you'll see our glide slope come back alive, because it picks it up from the runway. And the further you go out, the higher it wants you to be. So you'll see now once it comes alive, it should be low. And as we go out, it'll rise. You wait till it goes past your center, and once it's up here, it means that you're below it, and that's when you want to be below the glide slope. So when you turn back in, it starts to creep back down again, and it'll capture it when you hit the approach button. So our runway, our airfield should be over here. Just keep watching for our glide slope. Change it hasn't come up yet. Normally when you're midfield, oh, I can see it here now. It's, yeah, you can see how it's really low. So as we get further away, that will start to come up. And you keep heading downwind until it gets higher. You can see it's starting to come up as we're getting further away. So we'll continue on until it's on one of these circles here. Usually I'll keep coming out until it's midways or so. Right now for this distance, we are perfectly on the glide slope for the runway. So now we are below it. You have to think of the ILS as a cone on an angle from the end of the runway. Alright, so now that we're pretty well below it, we're going to turn our heading bug another 90 degrees. 300. And as you can see, normally you wouldn't want to hit it directly on a 90-degree angle because you'll overshoot it. So what you do is about 30 degrees off the runway heading or so. But remember, as we get closer to it, it will come back down. So once we get a little bit closer, I'm going to just slow down a little bit here. If I hit approach right now, so I'm just gonna cut the angle off a bit, about midways. And we're going to hit our approach button. So we're on our localizer, comes up, and our glide slope. I'm gonna go VS just down a little bit. Our glide slope was creeping in, but it should capture it. as we get closer to this line, you'll see this come in and it'll turn us on final. There we go. See our localizer and our glide slope is captured. One notch flaps. Sink our heading and we'll, case of a go around, 3,500. And I should be looking at the runway. Or looking for the runway. See how well this brings us in. I got a feeling, funny feeling it'll be the same. Over the lights, you would probably disengage your autopilot once you see the threshold green lights at the threshold of the runway. Autopilot's disengaged. Pretty dark now. Slippery. Whoa, no! I want to bust out the lights. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that long flight and a couple of approaches showing the difference between an RNAV and an ILS approach. So, hopefully you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. And if you liked it, hit me a like, and if you really liked it, you can subscribe. Really helps, and thanks a lot. See ya.